Hi guys, filming my Colourpop look too. I know I said in the previous Colourpop video I was gonna film it the day after. That did not happen. It has been almost a week and I've just been really tired. I am working on like a vlog, so that'll probably go up before this goes up and you guys will kind of see what I've been up to. But so let's get started on our Colourpop video. I said in the last one I wasn't really gonna use this quad, but for this look I would like to use this quad, and I actually kind of want to incorporate something I've been seeing trending at the same time, kind of knock out two birds with one stone. So I've been seeing the reverse cat eye look. Thought I would try to do a look with blue and contrast it with orange or yellow. I'm not sure. My first look had a lot of yellow, so I don't know if I want to do that again, but I'll have the blue be kind of the point, and then I'm going to contrast it with another color, and I'm going to do it in the shape of a reverse cat eye. And I just kind of want to see, because I don't see any reverse cat eye looks on monolids. I thought it'd be really fun to try. It's like 9 at night, so I'm filming pretty late, so I don't really have any skincare on, and as you can see, I have matching friends on either side of my face, and I also have a tiny little cat scratch on my forehead, but that's okay, I guess. Hopefully these go away soon. I'm gonna start off with a Dominique Cosmetics spray. I'm just gonna use this to give my face some hydration since I don't really have skincare on. It's so late. I'll just use this kind of like my primer and just kind of get my face hydrated. Plus it smells really nice too. I think I have some stuff starting to develop on my nose as well. Like if I touch it I can feel pain. That's kind of how I know something is starting. Oh well. I had such nice skin and now it's getting ruined again. Need myself some coverage, so I'm gonna use my ESPOIR Be Glow foundation and I'm gonna mattify this using powder. And if you're wondering why the camera exposure keeps like changing every time I move around, it's because I have the camera setting back to auto. I know you're like technically not supposed to do that. You're really supposed to like have more fine control over your camera settings, but you know, I did that for several months, and I think if you compare the quality of the lighting in my previous videos to this one and my past few ones, clearly I just must be really bad at camera stuff because auto is doing a much better job than I did. So I usually use this during the winter. It can get pretty thick. It feels like I'm wearing a pretty like heavy creamy lotion, but given the situation I can wear this right now. And I like that it does have pretty good coverage, especially as far as a Korean foundation is concerned, so it will hide my trouble. I always prefer matching my neck, so it's summer, so I do kind of get like a tiny little tan. Not like my preference, but you can't help it when you live in the South. Gonna conceal with my JX Professional Triple Concealer. My under eye circles are definitely pretty bad right now. I took a nap earlier today from like 2 to 5. That helped a little bit. And then I'm gonna definitely sleep in tomorrow. I hadn't filmed for so long that I started just like not wanting to film, but you know, you have to stay disciplined. You can't just stop and get lazy. But I just wanted so bad to like just not film for like a month. So maybe one of these days I'll pre-film a bunch and then I'll just like take off for a bit. Eye bags are a lot more covered, so looking way better now. I think I'm gonna go in with my cream bronzer. Yeah, just because like the majority of my bronzers right now are cream, so I guess I'll just use those. Actually no, I'm gonna powder my face. I really want to try, bought this and I've used it off camera, but I really want to try using on camera this new bronzer I got from NABLA. I was interested in this formula, so I'm gonna try this on camera. I've already used it like twice off camera, but I wanted to use it on camera and show it to you guys. So I'm gonna powder my face. So I'm gonna be powdering my face with the Urban Decay powder foundation. This has actually been like a super surprise find for me to use during the summer. It works really well actually, and I thought because it's Urban Decay that it would dry my skin out, but it actually didn't. I like it so much that it went half off at Ulta, so it was $19, and I did actually buy a backup, which I have never ever bought backups of anything before. So if I like it that much, then you know that it's good. And I don't know if you can pick up on camera, but I do have some dryness on my eyelids because it's late at night and so I didn't put eye cream on. So this dry peeling skin on my eyelids, it's gonna just be a thing. We're just gonna have to deal with it. I am gonna be exfoliating my face tonight. That should help get rid of most of it, but other than that, my face looks okay. I mean, generally this is why I prefer filming in the mornings when my skincare is fresh, so if you see any dry patches, that's not the complexion products being bad, it's just the fact that the time of day I'm filming, it's just not ideal for my skin, and my eyelids are always super dry. And since this is a powder foundation, you're gonna get some extra coverage out of this, so it's really good for if you have a lot of stuff you want to cover up. It'll add that extra coverage that you might need. And I find using the little puff thing that it comes with honestly does like the job just fine. If I use a brush, the brush will abrade my skin and cause me to peel, like what you see on my eyelid. So I prefer to use powder puffs like this anyways. Okay, so my skin is mattified, a little bit dry, but that's to be expected. So I am going to go in with my spray again, and we're gonna spray everything down, and that should kind of restore my face a little bit. We're gonna work on brows now. I'm using my Urban Decay Brow Blade and Cool Cookie. I recently discovered this YouTube channel that voices over and compiles makeup tutorials from Bilibili and TikTok and other Chinese kind of YouTube sources, because you know there's no YouTube in China, and Dear Peachy will compile it and also voice over it, so it's translated. And I have discovered the most useful tutorials there. About the only thing they haven't done yet is a makeup tutorial for monolids, but given how unaccepting the Chinese are of monolids, I'm not super surprised. It feels like any beauty guru over in China with millions of followers has double eyelids or has gotten surgery to do them or uses tape. Monolids are gonna hold you back from being successful over there, honestly, it feels like. And they even had a video on working with lips where your corners point down, and I literally have never seen a video on that before, so I was so grateful they did it. Now the model still didn't have lips quite as like awful as mine, but it was definitely a start. So I'm gonna try and practice those as well. You guys should definitely check out their channel, it's really interesting. And it's nice that they put in all that work to translate for you. Alright, and now I'm gonna use the ink stain side to just draw in those hair-like strokes. I'm not going to use brow mascara today just because it's going to be a hassle to wash off, so we're just going to call that the eyebrows. So I'm going to start off with this brown, with this blue. The state of the skin on my upper eyelids, I really just don't want to bother with it, so what I am going to do, I do need to like contour my upper eyelid a little bit though, so I am going to do that. And I'm going to use this palette from CLIO really quickly. This is the Botanic Mauve palette. I bought this a couple months back, mostly for the packaging and for how pretty it is, but I've never actually used it, so I figured this would be a nice chance to use it on camera. I'm going to go in with this shade right here. Now, based on what I've seen of other people swatching it, the imprints are gonna vanish extremely quickly, so I'm gonna try not to be too heartbroken about those. So yeah, I can see that my eyeshadow brush is actively making my skin flake off, and it's also because my skin is flaking off, it's flaking off, and any foundation sitting on top is gonna flake off too, giving the impression of my foundation having been like taken off somehow. We're just gonna leave the upper eyelid alone. It obviously is just not in the mood to participate, so all I'm gonna do is lightly contour it with some neutral eyeshadow, and we'll focus everything on the lower lash line. Like, I find it so interesting and definitely a little bit frustrating that most videos about eyeshadow primer and eyelid preparation focus on having oily eyelids. Definitely feels like the majority of people here in America have oily eyelids, but I absolutely do not. I have literally the direct opposite of oily eyelids, so none of those videos are ever helpful for me, but videos on preparing dry eyelids just don't exist, so I've just had to trial and error by myself, and I still really don't feel like I have a really foolproof way to prepare my eyelids. But if I ever do find some stuff that works for me, I'm gonna make a video about it to share with you guys. Alright, so I think I'm gonna take shade here, it's just right next to it. I'm just gonna add a little bit more depth. Now, these mattes are like surprisingly really nice. I know Korea is not necessarily renowned for their eyeshadow quality, but in recent years, so like ever since like late 2019 and early 2020, I feel like their eyeshadows have dramatically really come into their own and taken on a form of formula that is just not even comparable to Western formulas. Like, you can't directly compare them anymore, and so now they just really have their own identity now. So I definitely follow eyeshadow palette releases in the Korean industry now, and I just think it's a lot of fun to see what they're coming up with. I feel like they are always, regards to eyeshadows, the way I've noticed in 2020 is that cool tones were definitely a thing in Korea, probably at least 6 months before it caught on in America. Prior to the release of the glam palette and stuff, there definitely were cool palettes making the rounds in Korea. American companies are like, oh hey, look what's going on over there. That's going to be trending here soon, so let's go and do that too. It definitely feels that way. So it's always a good place to look if you wonder what's going to trend next. Just look over there and you'll figure it out pretty quickly. Okay, I'm going to call that it for the upper eyelids. You can see it's very lightly contoured just to add some depth and to just a little something something for my eyelids. So I'm going to put this palette away. Oh, this makes me want more eyeshadow palettes. Stop. Okay, so I'm gonna take this now and I'm going to find a tiny brush and I'm going to take Hang 10, and this is gonna be my primary shade for the reverse cat eye. Definitely kind of nervous because blues can be pretty difficult to work with, but basically it seems like, oh yeah, there's fallout. Oh well. It seems like they kind of sweep it up to make the wing and then they sweep it under the entirety of the lash line. And that's kind of the basic shape from what I've noticed. It feels super draggy. So this shade has a ton of fallout, so we're gonna kind of apply it slowly. And I am gonna kind of connect it to the corner a little bit just so that I have room to make the wing thicker. I think this is pretty awesome personally. Like, I feel like this flatters monolids really well just because we have the flat real estate to be able to do crazy shapes like this. Alright, I'm gonna use an angled brush now so that way I have more control over where it's going. This shadow has a ton of kick up in the pan, just letting you guys know. Definitely a blue quad I would just keep mostly for the packaging. I have blues that are way better than this. Like, if you want good blues to do blue stuff, get like Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dream. I don't know if it's still available, but if it is, the blues in there were pretty rock solid. Oh yep, you can see all that fallout because I forgot to tap the excess off my brush and it left behind a blue smudge. Oh well, that serves me right for forgetting to tap off the excess. This blue does require a lot of building, so I would say not really my favorite blue ever, but the shape is really fun. I do really like this shape a lot. I'm now going to work on that contrast, so I'm going to take La Pina, which is over here, and I'm going to use this on the inner corner, and I'm going to use this to kind of introduce a highlight element and also just that pop of yellow that I think will work really well. If I really wanted to like have a higher quality look, I definitely would have used the gold from like Pat McGrath or something, but we're just using Colourpop here. And you can see that adds a nice kind of contrast. I feel like I look like a fish. I mean, I'm not bothered by it. And now I'm going to take Sandy, which is over here, and this is going to be my inner corner highlight. I'm also kind of letting it diffuse across my eyelid just for a little bit of interest. So you can see that I just kind of let it diffuse towards the middle of my eyelid. I'm not being super particular about where it is, just because there's so little eyeshadow on my upper eyelid. And you can see that adds just that nice element of highlight that we needed. So personally, I could definitely go for more depth, like using a black to accentuate this line, but we're gonna leave it like that because I do want this to be mostly Colourpop. I'm gonna kind of see if I can tap over this fallout really quickly. Alright, and we're gonna work on this eye now. Alright, that's what it's looking like so far. I went a little bit lower on this eye than that eye, but I can always just balance that out later. Now it's time to add in those details. I got some on the waterline, oops. Alright, I am gonna go ahead and balance out that other eye. So it needs to go a little bit lower. Yeah, this shade is just really messy. I think is honestly the crux of the issue, is just how messy this shade is. Any other blue wouldn't be having these problems. But I've already made this giant dent just from using that little because that's how crumbly the eyeshadow is. I had like an eye booger, that's so gross. And now I'm gonna go in with Sandy. So at least the Inner corner highlight looks fine. Everything else is questionable. I have so much blue dust everywhere. So this is kind of what the reverse cat eye look is looking like. If I had better quality shadows and I was using different colors, I can totally see how this would be like awesome. So I'm definitely gonna try it again in the future, but like with different colors. But yeah, I think this is a really great idea. I think just mascara would be okay. I'm not sure though. I'll see how it looks with just mascara, and if I need to put on lashes I will, so I'm gonna just do that off camera. Alright, this is just with my mascara, and I think honestly this is enough. I think that is completely fine. But we're gonna move on to the rest of the face now, and so this is the bronzer I was talking about. I got it in the shade Soft Revenge. It is actually a fairly dark shade, but because this is kind of in the same formula as a Clinique Cheek Pop, I was thinking going darker might actually be a better idea, and I was a really big fan of this undertone. This is not a cool undertone, and it's also not super warm. This is very neutral, and put it next to my skin, I swear I could see a tinge of green. Got an olive undertone, which is like something I never see. So I definitely wanted to try this shade just because on the website it looked really promising, and in person when I tried it for the first time I was like, I swear I see some green, and that made me really excited. I just have to use just a little bit. I definitely don't put on very much, but I really like it, so I wanted to demo it on camera for you guys today. And you can see that it just adds dimension to my face really well. And because it's that kind of baked formula, it's really easy for me to apply. But because the shade is darker, I don't really need to dig my brush in. Like some of those Clinique Cheek Pops, I swear I have to like really push my brush in for there to be pigment, which is fine. It means it's not easy to overdo, but it can be a hassle, whereas for this it really doesn't take much effort at all for me to start building up that pigment. And I can contour with this as well. This is just kind of a really great color. So you can see here I just kind of put some on my jawline and on my outer corners of my face, kind of doing that like hide my jawbone a little bit. And do you just see how natural that looks? Okay, so in the Menagerie Feral palette there's this shade called Night Eyes. I'm gonna see if I can use this. So I'm gonna take it on my blush brush. There we go, yellow blush. I think I actually used to use this as a yellow blush way back in the day. Yeah, that works. With yellow blush, I like to focus it on the front of my face. I do not really wrap it around. Definitely kind of a weird color of blush to have, so you just put it like in a singular spot and concentrate it. It works pretty well that way. It can be a good idea sometimes to go in with a little bit more bronzer than normal. So I am going to add a little bit more bronzer. Just kind of helps counterbalance the yellow a little bit. And that is the blush. Now the last step, I want to do highlighter. I am fine with leaving this as is just because it is, you know, pretty matte look, but I really want to try this ABH and Amrezy highlighter. I found somebody selling this on Reddit, and I finally, for the first time in years, was not like the 20th person to be next in line. I was the second person, and I lucked out and got it. I'm just gonna take this little brush from Laura Los Angeles. I don't know why this is marketed as an eye brush. It is not an eye brush. I use this as a face brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit. I just want to put a little bit on, like just a little bit. I just want to see what color it is and stuff. Ooh, pretty. I feel like this layers on top of yellow blush really well. It's really smooth on my skin. Like looking in the mirror, it's going on my skin really smooth. Okay, I would have loved to slather it everywhere, but I don't want to ruin the look too badly, so I am going to put it to the side. I'm going to keep using this. I'm going to use the Colourpop Lippie pencil in the shade Another Round. I really wanted to take advantage of their sale, but I don't know. Money. Instead, Phytosurgeons was having a back to school sale, and they never have sales. So I bought from Phytosurgeons instead. I'm gonna be doing a video dedicated to Phytosurgeons once it comes in. I'm really excited. It is an Asian-owned, LGBT-owned brand, and Temptalia has been reviewing their blush balms, which have caught my interest for months now, and I'm so excited. And they don't ever send out PR to anyone, which I think is really cool. I was more than happy to support them and try them out. I got 2 cream shadows and 2 blush balms. Like, I still want to get and try new things, but I have to be really conscious of what I'm trying. And between just getting random stuff at the Colourpop sale that I probably wouldn't actually like as much versus the Phytosurgeons, which is a brand that I've been really excited about for months, the choice was pretty obvious. Now that I have completely catfished my lips, I'm going to go in with a different balm color. So last time I used the bright pink one and I was so blown away, so this time it's definitely going to be more appropriate for me to use one of these more kind of neutral or more MLBB-ish shades. So this one is a little bit more orange, and then this one is a little bit less orange. So we're gonna use this one. It is in the shade Fun in the Sun. As you can see, it's like leaning over and it's not centered because, like I said, the package came and it was so hot that day, it just melted, but I'm sure it'll still work just fine. So we're gonna pot that on the lips. Oh yeah, that works perfectly. It's basically the same shade as my lips. I can imagine a true like skin colored concealer lip situation looking really good with this look, but how I look if my lip is lighter than my actual lip color, like my lip color always has to be darker than my natural lip color. It cannot be lighter. I just feel I cannot get over how weird I look. So this is perfect. So the whole like nude toned lip thing where it's like a beige lip is just not for me. I only use those as like a base color for a gradient lip. So this is about as light as I'm willing to go. And gosh, I really just love how balmy this formula is. It really just feels amazing. It melts like a gloss stick and it just makes my lips look so juicy too. I just love how it looks. Like, did you get lip filler? Maybe. Did I? No, I didn't. I want to though. Okay, so I'm gonna take my bangs down. That was Mochi deflating. She sleeps and then every now and then she exhales and she like melts and then she makes a deflate sound. Okay, I'm gonna just leave my hair up just because it's late. But here's the finished look. I actually super love how this turned out. Everything did eventually come together and I love how I look. The lips, of course, just a rock star. The inner corner highlight actually looks super nice. I love this kind of glittery effect that I got. I can see pros of this particular shimmer formula, but I still stand by my opinion that Colourpop shimmers are not what they used to be. This blue shadow was very difficult to work with. I will likely not really be using that palette ever again. I honestly got this collection mostly for display purposes, collection purposes, Hello Kitty purposes, and I was well aware of that, so I'm not disappointed. It's really cute packaging still, but I have better blues. Now these blushes I do fully intend to continue using. All of the quads, honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna continue using them. I mean, they're okay, but you know, the shimmers in every single one of them have just been so meh that, and the shimmers are half the quad, right? So I just meh. I see people get really great results from Colourpop metallics, so I do want to mess around with different brushes and techniques to see if I may be doing something wrong, because as I've mentioned many times in other videos, I just seem to have a terrible time working with shimmers and metallic. I've seen people use brushes for Natasha Denona metallics. I use the exact same brushes and they look terrible. So it really could just be a user error. I would not put it past me. So I am definitely gonna, I'm really trying to make it a point to mess around with different techniques. I'm gonna watch other people's videos and really mimic what they're doing and see where I'm going wrong. I think ultimately my bottom line problem, the root of the cause, my current hypothesis really is just how dry my eyelids are. Is not something that using the same brush will fix. If somebody's eyelids are naturally more oily, I can really see how the metallic would adhere better. Whereas when the eyelid is dry, eyeshadows love to become really patchy really quick, which happens to me a lot. So I am excited to try using that eyeshadow primer I got, which the Prime and Lock. I am excited to start using this. And I also initially was going to declutter my Shape Tape Ultra Creamy because it really doesn't cover my under eye circles, but I'm gonna try using this as well. We'll see. I also have considered maybe just like wetting my eyelids with setting spray. I know I've seen Pony do that before to prime her eyelids and that seemed to work, but yeah, I just definitely a lot more research is gonna need to be done on my end for that. That all being said, I actually super love this look. Reverse cat eye is a thing and I'm gonna be doing this again but with like different shadows, so look forward to a video on that soon where I do it again but like with like, I don't know, like a Pat McGrath palette or something. Will turn out a lot better. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely give yellow blush a try. I don't know, I really like it. And as always, please leave any video requests in the comments as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!